Welcome back to the Wellness Cues. Today, we're going to talk about 5 shocking signs you're emotionally and mentally exhausted. Let's dive right in. The first shocking sign is that simple tasks suddenly feel overwhelming. Things that used to be part of your routine, answering a text, washing dishes, or sending an email now feel like mountains you can't climb. This isn't laziness or procrastination. It's your brain and body signaling that your energy reserves are depleted. When you're emotionally drained, your mental processing slows down, and small tasks feel magnified. You might catch yourself staring at your phone for long stretches without the energy to respond to a single message. Or maybe you put off chores because the thought of starting feels exhausting. Over time, this builds into guilt because you know these tasks aren't objectively huge, but you simply can't get yourself to act. This cycle of avoidance and guilt deepens exhaustion and chips away at your motivation. Psychologists call this decision fatigue, where every little choice feels heavier than it should. If you notice that everyday responsibilities feel paralyzing, it's not a sign of weakness. It's a signal that you need to pause and reset before burnout becomes chronic. The second shocking sign is that your emotions feel out of control. One moment you're irritated, the next you feel like crying for no reason, and then you're completely numb. Emotional exhaustion creates this unpredictable roller coaster because your mind is operating in survival mode. The brain is no longer processing stress in a balanced way, so even small triggers can spark big reactions. You might snap at a loved one over something minor or break down unexpectedly at work. On the flip side, you might feel detached, unable to connect emotionally with people you care about. This can be alarming because you know you love your partner, friends, or kids, yet you feel emotionally distant. That emotional detachment is your body's way of conserving energy. It's like your mind pulls back to protect itself from further overload. The problem is this can damage relationships if others interpret it as coldness or disinterest. When you're emotionally and mentally exhausted, your ability to regulate emotions becomes compromised. Recognizing this pattern is crucial because it shows you that your mind isn't defective, it's simply overwhelmed. The third shocking sign is that your body is screaming at you through physical symptoms. Mental and emotional exhaustion doesn't just stay in your head, it takes over your body. You might notice headaches, muscle tension, stomach problems, or even frequent colds because your immune system is suppressed. Fatigue lingers no matter how much you sleep, leaving you groggy and drained during the day. Some people describe it as walking around with an invisible weight strapped to their shoulders. Others feel constant tightness in the chest or knots in the stomach. Sleep also gets disrupted. Either you toss and turn with racing thoughts, or you oversleep and still feel tired. These symptoms are your body's way of sounding the alarm that stress has gone beyond a healthy threshold. When cortisol and adrenaline flood your system too long, your body can't reset to normal. Over time, this leads to burnout, anxiety disorders, and even chronic illness. The shocking part is many people don't connect their physical issues to emotional exhaustion, so they treat the symptoms without addressing the root. If your body keeps giving you these signals, it's urging you to slow down before it shuts down. The fourth shocking sign is a loss of motivation and joy in the things that once mattered to you. You may still show up for work, family, or school, but everything feels mechanical. Activities that used to bring you joy, reading, exercising, cooking, spending time with friends no longer light you up. Instead, they feel like extra effort you don't have the energy for. This loss of interest, known as anhedonia, is often linked to both burnout and depression. It's shocking because people often don't realize how much they've disconnected until someone else points it out. You might decline social invitations because you feel too tired, or you stop pursuing hobbies that once made you feel alive. Slowly, your world shrinks, and with it, your sense of identity and purpose. This can be terrifying because you start to wonder, what's wrong with me? Why don't I enjoy life anymore? But the truth is, your brain is signaling that it needs restoration. Emotional exhaustion makes it difficult to produce dopamine, the feel-good neurotransmitter that fuels motivation and pleasure. This doesn't mean your joy is gone forever. It means your mind is begging for rest, balance, and healing. The fifth shocking sign is that you feel disconnected from yourself and from others. Emotional and mental exhaustion often pulls you into a state where life feels distant, foggy, and unreal. You may find yourself going through the motions, working, talking, eating, yet feeling like you're not truly present. It's as if you're watching your life unfold from the outside, detached from your own thoughts and feelings. Psychologists call this depersonalization, and it usually happens when stress has reached a point where your brain tries to protect you by switching into autopilot. This disconnection can feel terrifying because it affects not just you, but your relationships. You might be surrounded by loved ones and still feel lonely, unable to engage emotionally in conversations or moments that once felt meaningful. Social interactions become draining instead of energizing, so you withdraw further, leaving friends and family confused by your distance. Even the things that once defined your sense of identity, your passions, your values, your goals start to feel foreign. You may look in the mirror and think, I don't even recognize myself anymore. This loss of connection is shocking because humans are wired to thrive on belonging, intimacy, and self-awareness. When exhaustion strips that away, it can leave you feeling hollow, like you're drifting through life without purpose. Ignoring this state only makes the disconnection grow stronger, but recognizing it is a powerful step toward healing. Rebuilding connection starts with small, intentional acts like journaling to hear your own thoughts again, spending quiet time in nature, or opening up to someone you trust about how numb or detached you feel. Even professional help from a counselor can guide you back to yourself piece by piece. The key is understanding that this disconnection isn't permanent. It's a sign that your mind is asking for rest, renewal, and care. Now that you know these 5 shocking signs, the question is what to do about them. The first step is acknowledging them without judgment. Recognize that emotional and mental exhaustion isn't a flaw in your character. It's a natural response to prolonged stress, overcommitment, or lack of rest. The next step is to start prioritizing self-care in a serious way. This could mean setting boundaries at work, saying no to obligations that drain you, or carving out time for genuine rest. Small shifts like practicing mindfulness, exercising gently, eating nourishing foods, or simply unplugging from constant notifications can make a huge difference. If your exhaustion feels overwhelming or persistent, seeking support from a therapist or counselor can help you unpack the root causes and develop healthier coping strategies. The most important thing to remember is that recovery is possible. Your mind and body are designed to heal when given the chance. You are not stuck in this state forever. Every step you take to prioritize your well-being, whether it's taking a walk, journaling, reconnecting with loved ones, or resting, helps restore balance. Emotional and mental exhaustion is your system's way of calling out for attention. If you listen to these signals and respond with care, you can rebuild your energy, your joy, and your connection to yourself and others. At the Wellness Cues, we believe your health is your greatest investment, and that includes your emotional and mental well-being just as much as your physical health. If you've been noticing any of these signs of exhaustion, remember you're not alone, and recognizing them is the first step toward healing. Your mind and body deserve the same care and attention you give to everything else in life. Thank you so much for spending your time with us today. If this video resonated with you, don't forget to subscribe and join our growing community of wellness warriors. We share practical tips, real insights, and encouragement to help you live a healthier, happier, and more balanced life. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next video.